Most people think grief is reserved for parents, partners, or siblings. But then a dog dies, or a cat, or that quiet little creature who slept at the edge of your bed every night. And suddenly the pain hits so hard it scares you. You start asking yourself a dangerous question. Why does this hurt as much as losing a human? And the even scarier question, what does that say about me? Before we go any further, if you're into deep psychology stories that explain why your emotions do things you can't control, hit subscribe and tap the notification bell right now, because this channel doesn't just tell stories, it explains what your mind is secretly doing behind the scenes. And trust me, what you're about to hear will change how you see grief forever. Here's the setup. Someone loses a pet. Friends say things like it was just an animal or you can always get another one. But the person feels hollow, can't eat, can't sleep, feels like a part of their identity vanished. This matters because millions of people feel this pain, but almost no one validates it, which creates a second layer of suffering, shame. And psychology has a brutal explanation for why losing a pet can feel identical to losing a family member. It starts quietly. Your pet wasn't just there for the good moments, they were there for the worst ones. The nights you cried when no one knew, the mornings you didn't want to get out of bed. They watched you fail, they watched you break, and they stayed. No judgment, no conditions, just presence. And your brain noticed that more than you realize. But here's the part most people miss. Your brain didn't categorize your pet as an animal. It categorized them as safety. And when safety disappears, the nervous system panics because it thinks survival is at risk. And that's where things start to spiral. Psychologists discovered something unsettling. The brain doesn't bond based on species, it bonds based on consistency. Your pet was there every day, same routine, same sounds, same rituals, feeding time, walks, eye contact, touch. Your brain wired those moments into your emotional regulation system, meaning your pet wasn't just a companion, they were a stabilizer, a living emotional anchor. And when that anchor disappears, your mind scrambles to figure out how to function without it. But here's the mini cliffhanger. That's still not the deepest reason this hurts so much. The bigger reveal comes from attachment theory. Humans are wired to attach to caregivers. But here's the twist. Pets often become the safest attachment figure in someone's life. Safer than parents, safer than partners. Why? Because pets don't abandon you emotionally. They don't reject you. They don't criticize your worst moments. They accept you at your lowest baseline. And the brain rewards that with oxytocin, the same bonding chemical released between parents and children. So when your pet dies, your brain doesn't register loss, it registers abandonment. Even if logically you know that's not true, emotionally your body feels left behind. Now comes the part that hits hardest. Many people unconsciously use pets as emotional witnesses. Your pet saw the version of you that no one else saw, the unfiltered one, the unguarded one. When they're gone, it feels like that version of you disappears too, like no one else remembers who you really were in those quiet moments. And the brain interprets that as identity loss, which is why the grief feels disorienting. You're not just missing them, you're missing who you were when they were alive. Here's the climax. Studies on grief show that disenfranchised grief, grief that society doesn't validate, actually hurts longer. When people tell you to move on or minimize your loss, your brain suppresses the mourning process, which traps the pain instead of releasing it. That's why pet loss can linger for years, not because you're weak, but because you were never given permission to grieve fully. Your nervous system stayed stuck in alert mode, waiting for closure that never came. So what's the resolution? The mind-blowing lesson? Losing a pet hurts because love is love. Your brain doesn't rank it, it feels it. And the depth of your pain is not a flaw. It's proof that you formed a real bond, a healthy bond, one built on trust, routine, and unconditional presence. Grief is the price of attachment, and avoiding grief means avoiding connection, which is far more dangerous in the long run. If you've ever lost a pet, I want you to comment one word that describes how it felt. Just one. And if this explains something you've never been able to put into words, share this with someone who's still hurting in silence. They might need it more than you think. And before you go, hit subscribe and the bell so you don't miss the next story, because understanding your mind doesn't just heal you, it gives your pain a purpose.